Attack on Titan was the people we ate along the way. Literally. Play the intro. Hello everybody, welcome to Attack on Titan episode 58 review, okay? Not a reaction, although I did upload that and I laughed a lot, I screamed a lot, it's pretty funny. I would say, a lot of people have dislikes, but that makes it even funny for me. Anyway, just like my last review, there's a lot of cuts in this episode, so I'm going to be reading the manga here and there. So if I quote something, it's not in the episode, that's because it's from there. Having said that, let's just jump into it. There's so many things to talk about. So this episode starts right where we left off. Kruger is killing a bunch of Marlians, he's destroying the boats. Something that was cut in the manga is how Grisha talks about how, so the steamships the Marley public security authorities used to take us here, and everything those soldiers carried, every trace that they ever existed here on this island had vanished, engulfed in the ocean. And then we have their conversation. So, what do you want to ask me? I don't know, where do I even start? Sorry, but I don't have that kind of time. And the anime staff didn't have that kind of time, so that part's good. Anyway, so who are you? And he reveals he's Eren Kruger. Yes. Eren Yeager is named after this fucking guy, which is kind of weird because it's not like they were friends, but, whatever, man. He has the power of one of the 9 Titans, the subject of Ymir this whole time, this guy that was supposed to be a Marley. Some of this stuff was cut, so I'm just gonna read. So he pretended to be a Marley to infiltrate the government. What about the blood tests? I just found he too was a subject of Ymir. He had falsified his own medical records to pose as a Marlian. Like I said in my last video, he's not alone. He has help. Doctors make good spies. They have education and position and the know-how to study Titan biology. I think a lot of people think that a certain character in the future is this doctor. I don't think that character was revealed to be a doctor, so I'm not really sure if that's that guy. Could be. Anyway, he says Grisha did a good job. He led restorationists at a young age, even produced, which, yikes, that is what an awful word to use. And heir with Dinah Fritz. Even your plots to make Zeke into a Marlian soldier. It was a realistic plan, considering the support you would have had from me. But in the end, well, it looks like Grice was right. And Grisha's like, yes, I was a bad father, a bad husband, a bad man. So why am I the only one still alive? Dinah had royal blood. So when Grisha says that she could make full use of the full power of the Titans, does that mean that this whole time, Grisha knew about the founding Titan needing the royal blood? You ate the royal family, gave it to Eren. I thought you were like, hey man, maybe Eren's gonna be able to use it. I don't have the time to figure this out. Turns out that he knew, but even still, it was like, yeah, these guys cannot have this. Hopefully there is a way to use the founding Titan. Alright, I guess. Wasn't obvious. Even our alien children know that from the Marlin history textbooks. Kruger then just falls and Grisha says that he's pale. Didn't really look pale, and then Kruger just says that he cut off the fingers of thousands of the subjects of Ymir, not just the Elder Restorationists, turned them into Titans, women and children, because he believes there's a purpose to all these sacrifices, because he's doing this to serve Eldia. And then they start talking about the first day that they met. If Kruger didn't call Grisha out and stopped him, maybe they would have been able to save Faye. Grisha thinks it's more likely that they would have killed him alongside her. Puts me at ease to know that you think that. But in any case, if that had never happened, you probably would have never hated Marley as much as you do now. Is that why Kruger picked Grisha? Well, it's a part of it. That hate I saw in your eyes could have burned the world to ashes. I was once that way too. The members of the royal family who stayed on the continent formed an insurgent force, and my father joined in, but they weren't able to do a thing. And in the end, they were all burned alive with their families. And this is why Dinah is also alone, because the rest of the royal family was doing this shit. And now, you have to think about how many royal-blooded people are left alive in the entire world. And for now, Zeke and Historia are the only people with royal blood, so they better start fucking. Anyway, Kruger was just a child, and all he could do was watch through a crack in the closet door. I was too scared to do anything else. My father's friend saved me just before my home burned down. So again, maybe this is one of the people that is supporting Kruger. I swore to get revenge on Marley and restore Eldia. But to do that, I had to take the fingers of the people I wanted to protect, to skin them alive, to kick them down there from here and turn them into Titans. My full devotion to that is what kept my identity from being revealed until the day. Maybe I'm still the same as then. I'm just looking out into the world from a crack in the closet door. I never really understood what he means by that, especially when he's talking about how betraying Eldians and stuff. He's talking about, I guess, like a warped perspective or something. Maybe he knows that this whole end justifies the means kind of thing is kind of not okay. maybe, but later on he's like, nah. So I don't know. What is this mission that you're giving? You will go inside the walls and take back the founding titan. And why can't this guy do it? Because of the curse of Ymir. Anyone who inherits the power of one of the titans, a shifter, will die in 13 years. And I inherited 13 years ago. So Kruger's just out. That's why he was pale. That's why Uri was pale too. And came, wow, you're so powerful and you're dying of old age. It wasn't old age. Uri was the younger brother. Rod was older. And he didn't look bad compared to Uri. Uri was, woo. Anyway, this was cut. If you had known this, you wouldn't have been so eager to have Zeke or Dinah take on the founding titan's powers.
いいじゃねえか。先の短い殺人鬼同士だろう。こんなの俺たち以外に誰が理解し合えるって言うんだ。
The owl called it the curse of Ymir. It's because they say Ymir, the founding titan, died 13 years after first awakening to her powers, and no one's power can exceed hers. So when that time closes in, your body weakens as the vessel finishes serving its purpose. Remember Uri? But more importantly, Grisha. If you do the math, when he made Eren eat him, his time was ending. That was 13 years. And Grisha, he didn't look like he was dying like Kruger or Uri. So I always found that was a little iffy. But yes, Eren and Armin are going to die. All this trouble to save Armin, and we just got a little more years. Anyway, while Eren is talking about this stuff, Armin's like actually taking notes, and he asks him, and this was another memory that matched up with your dad's notes, right? Yeah. When you consider that the Brace family passed the crown every 13 years, that seems to confirm it. That's why the Brace were just eating each other. If I have 13 years, and Eren 8, or even less, and Mikasa is taking this news pretty well. Anyway, if someone who holds the power of one of the titans dies without anyone else inheriting that power, aka eating the spinal fluid, the power of that titan is suddenly inherited by a baby belonging to the subject of Ymir. And this was cut, which is very interesting. Distance plays no factor in this at all, and neither do blood relations. It's completely random. So you can't help but think that maybe the subjects of Ymir are all connected by something invisible. One successor said they saw paths. Paths is just a thing that's been memed to hell in these past 3 years or something. Paths invisible to the eyes, the blood and bones that form the titan, were sent to these shifters and other titans through those paths. And at times, those paths even carried memories or the will to act.
Remember the name of the opening of this season? The Path of Longing and Corpses? I've seen people try to translate into the road or something, but no, it's those paths.
Magic, bro. And it's pretty crazy. So every time characters are remembering things, that is paths. Everyone is connected to this network. And if you're a shifter, you can easily see previous shifters' memories. That's why Eren is seeing Kruger and Grisha. But then you have weirder scenarios where people with no Titan powers can also see things. Eren, before he had the Titan, he had the dream in season 1. These memories are transcending time and space. Maybe it's because it was actually going to be shifter in the future. Then you have Historia, and she, in this episode, does a crazy thing. And all those paths cross a single coordinate. And the anime just shows the visuals of the paths, just to make it really clear that stuff that Ymir was seeing was indeed paths. This single coordinate that everyone's connected to is the founding titan. It's why the founding titan can control everyone, can control all titans and all subjects of Ymir through paths that transcend physical space. That is the most recent theory posited by the Marley government's Titan Biology Research Society. That is a mouthful. But yeah, they have a bunch of people working on Titan stuff. Remember when Gross was talking about how he was going to transform this guy into 3-4 meter Titan? He knows what he's doing, okay? So there's studies about this stuff. And maybe it's through these guys that we have all those different serums back in the Uprising arc that Rod had. Armored bottle, the normal bottle, that's what Armin had. The bottle that Rod consumed was the strongest Titan bottle or something. So you're saying that magic exists and that our assessor, Ymir, was a witch all along? So, which is it? The Marleyan authorities, they called her a pawn of the devil. But the Elden Empire, she was a god-given miracle. Were all those historical documents that you were sending us nothing more to fuel our morale too? So then what is the truth? What is our real history? When she was a girl, our ancestor Ymir touched the source of all living matter. There are some who say that too. There is no such thing as truth in this world. This is our reality. Anyone can become a god or a devil. All it takes is someone to claim it to be true, to believe that shit. 17 centuries of ethnic cleansing. If that were true, there wouldn't be a strand of Marleyan hair left on this planet. Our ancestor Ymir brought us nothing but wealth with the power of the Titans. That doesn't sound like any human I've ever heard of. I heard that Dinah was part of the royal bloodline from you too. Was that another one of your truths? Is that why you abandoned her? Is that a lie? Unfortunately, it is true. She had royal blood. So why? Why did you kill her? Kruger says because she had royal blood. There was no way I could let her fall into our enemy's hands. Zeke would surely tell Marley everything. It was a matter of time before they saw his words were more than child's babble. And speaking of Zeke, okay, Kruger, Marley having royal blood, that's bad. Zeke is working with Marley though. Unless Zeke doesn't know that he has royal blood, or is he for some reason going to keep quiet about it? Why are we expecting that? Zeke is with Marley, so I feel like your worst case scenario that you wanted to avoid with Dinah can very easily happen.
If you remember, in the first episode of Season 3, Part 2, there was a scene where characters were talking about Moonlight Titans, you know, the Titans that were attacking Castle Utgard. Now we have the full context of those Titans, okay? So, what was going on with those guys? Well, the Titans in Season 2, if you remember correctly, before, you know, the whole conflict with Reiner and Bertolt, those were Titans that were inside Wall Rose, and people thought that the wall was breached, and then turns out that that wasn't the case. Mainly, if not all those Titans, came from Coney's village. And now we know that Titans are humans, so, oh my god, Zeke somehow turned an entire village into Titans, and then it was shown that he had some control over these guys from the way he killed Mike, but it wasn't perfect. But still, now we know that Zeke has royal blood, and the royal blood allows him to have founding Titan-like powers, even when he doesn't have the founding Titan. He has the Beast Titan, which is pretty crazy. But yes, it's not like we have this new type of Titan, Moonlight Titans. No, it's just those Titans are Zeke, and Zeke can do some crazy stuff with them.
Would you prefer she spend the rest of her life forced to bear children for her enemy? Honestly, being turned into a man-eating monster might be preferable. Not that I asked her, of course. But seeing her in those last moments, I think I made the right choice. Still, it was entirely because I wasn't strong enough, that I wasn't able to save our brothers and sisters. Only one person can reach the wall from here. The person with the power of the Titans within them. I did my job, now do yours. And Grisha, unfortunately, is not really willing to just... Yeah, man, let's fucking do it. I don't think I'm fit for this job. Didn't I just destroy the Elder Restorationists, an organization you created? And then Grisha points to Gross, and yes, absolutely, that was censored. The man who delighted in feeding my sister to dogs was just eaten alive by Titan. There's no better revenge that I could have asked for. We were talking if I found fun or interesting the fact that I saw this guy die, and Grisha's like, no, I didn't. I couldn't bear to hear the repulsive screams he made as he died an agonizing death. And I felt the same way when you were crushing your own men in your hands. I was just frightened. I haven't changed at all. Losing my brothers and sisters, losing my wife and son, the pain of having my fingers cut off. If I had known that this was the price of freedom, I never would have paid it. I'm sorry, but you made a terrible miscalculation. I can't hate anything anymore. And we have one of the most interesting cuts that I thought was unfortunate, and it's about Grisha's father. Kruger tries to actually justify Grisha's father's behavior. Your father was a smart man. The man who smiled and nodded at the authorities even though they barely lifted a finger after his own daughter was killed. He was trying to not lose any more of his family. He was desperate to make sure you stayed off the wrong path. The same father that Grisha was like, oh, you look like a dog. But his son learned nothing from him. Worse, he shipped his own wife and son straight to hell. What are you trying to say? Stand, fight. And Kruger's like, I'm short on time and there's stuff that I haven't said to you. And he's like, you're supposed to leave with that. You need to make a vow to me first, that you will fight again to restore Eldia's freedom and dignity, with your own life on the line. If you'll fight, then stand. Grisha still refuses. Kruger pulls out a picture of his family that he brought from his home. Grisha refuses to look. It's pointless to make me recall my hatred. All I have left are my sins, which is what Rod said to Eren when he was about to show Eren Grisha's memories. That's enough, because the main reason Kruger chose Grisha was not because of his hatred with Marley. It was because Grisha went past that wall in that day. That's the title of the episode. We saw freedom, and our brothers and sisters paid the price for it. There's only one way to pay them back. From the first day I came here to pick my compatriots to their deaths, and from the day you brought your sister outside the wall, those actions will follow us until they're repaid. Even if we die. Even after we die. That is his mentality, you know? Like, the end justifies the means, to a point where even if they're dead, the next person is going to give meaning to their deaths, to the things that they've done. If you're noticing, I'm kind of doing a little parallel with Erwin's speech. There's a whole fucking viewpoint of a lot of characters where, you know, I'm doing bad things, but if my objective happens, then these bad things are justified, then it's all good. It's fine. Just let me win. And even if we're dead, the next person's gonna make sure we're doing it. So Grisha, do your job, and all those fuck-ups, all the people you fucking mistreated, everything was gonna be justified. And he gets up, and then we have the reveal. Each one of the 9 Titans has a name, and that includes the one you're about to inherit from me. In every era, this Titan has always moved ahead, seeking freedom. It has fought on for freedom, and its name is the Shingeki no Kyojin, the Attack Titan, and this big reveal only works in Japanese. What is Shingeki no Kyojin? What is the actual meaning? Well, there's a lot of meanings, because that's the thing about that title. It is actually pretty vague. But now with this reveal, it means the advancing giants. It could be giants, but now it's because it's the one Titan that keeps on moving forward. And again, moving forward is a theme, and it fits so perfectly well. This might have been obvious for the Japanese readers. I'm not sure. If you look into the naming convention of a lot of the Titans, you have, female Titan, Megata no Kyojin, Armored Titan, I think it's Yori no Kyojin, the Beast Titan, Kemono no Kyojin. It's always this blank no Kyojin. Colossal is actually different. You look at the title of the series, Shingeki no Kyojin, and maybe some Japanese readers were like, that only works in Japanese. The official English name is Attack on Titan. What is Attack on Titan? Some people would like to say that maybe it's Attack on, Titan? Nah, it's not. I don't think so. As far as I know, and I don't actually have sources on this. I've seen people talking about it throughout the years. Essentially, and this doesn't really surprise me, is that Isayama is not really the most eloquent in the English language. I know I'm not. But it was just Attack on Titan, and some editor was Attack of the Titans works better. It's more grammatically correct. And Isayama was Attack on Titan is cool, and that's the title. There's a lot of animes that have English names that make no sense. Attack on Titan is one of them. I don't think there's any meaning. But that's that. And then you have stuff like this. This is the Portuguese translation, and I know a lot of other countries follow the same translation of the series. From Shingeki no Kyojin to Attack on Titan to now being Attack of the Titans. Which, there's really no meaning there. It's the most obvious thing ever. The Titans are attacking. Pretty generic. This is the Portuguese volume, and I gotta say, man, I'm buying it now. I'm gonna support the industry here. But number 1, this is volume 2, right? There's no volume 3. I'm waiting for volume 3 for months, and I'm not getting anything. Number 2, look at that. Look at this shit. I don't know if I can show this. I gotta show this to you, bro. I gotta show this. Look at that. It says Eren Yeager, but you have correctly here Grisha Yeager. They can't write the fucking names correctly. This is the first fucking page. And they have Armin Arlarts. I'm buying this. And they're fucking it up. If these guys are watching, let me fucking translate this shit. I'm the fucking fan. I know what I'm doing. And anyway, you have Eren saying Shingeki no Kyojin out loud like a fucking idiot. Okay? And that's the whole gimmick of the next half of this episode. Everyone just keeps making fun of Eren. It's so weird. It's so dumb. I don't know if it's a translation kind of thing, a cultural thing we're losing here. It's strange. This whole it's in his age. What? I don't understand. Anyway, you have Hanji repeating it. Oh, Shingeki no Kyojin. And it's pretty funny. And then I've seen a lot of the animators are posting on Twitter other characters doing the same pose. Shingeki no Kyojin. It's pretty funny. Anyway, I really like how Hanji's you said that, right? And Eren immediately was no. It's no, I did not. What? You did. I heard it. And yeah, that's just weird. It's just a whole weird situation. Anyway, they're here. Eren was why am I getting out? I still have 10 days. Levi's just you just got all 10 days worth from Hanji. But then there's some stuff cut from the anime, making an example of people's through discipline. Even if it's for show, it's important to any organization, even a 9-person organization. So yeah, that's the sturdy core. Still, that doesn't mean we can ignore what's going on around us. They're the heroes that defeated Armored and Colossal Titans, so putting them in jail doesn't really look that good. And the corpses can't really afford to punish these guys right now. If I ever found myself at loss, now would be that time. Anyway, Eren looks at Mikasa and she's really skinny. She's not eating. I wonder why. But Eren's fine. Anyway, they have to get out because they have a meeting with Queen Historia. We're finally seeing our dearest Historia. And that's how the letter starts with Ymir. Now, initially, it's the same. We have Reiner standing at my side. He's catching glimpses as I write this love letter to you. What a creep. He's never getting a girlfriend. I mean, supposedly he's gay, right? That's what you were implying, Ymir, in season 2, but whatever. He did promise that he would deliver this letter to you. He says he wants to repay me for saving them that day. I'm sorry for what happened then. I never imagined I would have chosen them over you. I'll be dead not long after I write these words, but I don't regret anything. And it's in here that anime cuts this whole section, but this is not lost. This cut part is in season 2. That whole Ymir big ass flashback that make no sense to anime onlys, it was from this arc. So what's going on? Like I said in my first anime review, I talked about how Isayama, during this arc, he was actually working with the season 2 production. Things came to a point where they didn't have enough time for that arc to fit 12 episodes, and they had to create extra content. That's why we have the extended flashback sequence with Hannes and the main trio, the Marco flashback that Reiner is thinking about, and we see this season like the full extent of that. But more importantly for this time is the Ymir flashback sequence that Isayama worked together with the writers in Wit Studio, and they produced that. It's this information that also makes me think that it's why this section in the chapter looks kind of like touched up storyboards, because it doesn't look like an actual manga. Like there's no panels, it's just pictures and text, and that's really it. Maybe that's it. Maybe Isayama drew some sketches for the anime staff, and then they're like, oh, I guess I'll touch them up and be done. So yeah, that was in season 2. And at the time, it didn't make a whole lot of sense. But now that we have the full context of Ymir's character, of Historia's character, we can understand everything about them. You know, why Ymir liked Historia, why she was related to Historia, why Ymir wanted to help Historia, but more importantly, why Ymir helped Reiner and Bertolt. Because she's like, oh, I don't understand. I do, okay? But let me just read the letter for you, you know, as it is in the manga. I had no name. I don't know who my parents were or where they were from. The first thing I remember is being one beggar among many. But one day a man showed up and gave me a name. Ever since then, people have called me Ymir. You may not think it's such an unusual name, but all I had to do was take it. And then I was given a fine bed and free meals. That wasn't all. Those adults who had always acted like I was invisible all got on their knees and revered me. And as for the man who named me, he began to dress more and more extravagantly. And as he did, he grew happier. I felt good too. All I had to do to make everyone delighted and happy was play the role I had been given. That's what I believed. Like Historia was playing the role of Krista? Yes. Exactly. And that's why I kept playing the part of Ymir. Soon people start calling me the devil, and this is where the Marlians showed up and were pointing guns all the way back in season 2, man. But I still kept playing the part of Ymir. And the man who gave me a name claimed that I had tricked him. Still, I kept playing the part of Ymir. So, in this part in the anime, we have like this woman looking at Ymir, and she's like nodding to Ymir. So Ymir does this, and like, I am Ymir, whatever. So who is that lady? I don't fucking know. And I don't fucking know what she was doing with Ymir, to be honest. But the thing that we know about this lady is that this lady is the Titan that was in the first OVA, the Ilse Lackner OVA, you know, the girl that was running away from a Titan and she was riding and the Titan was speaking with her, and this is the first time we have the subject of Ymir dropped on us. Yeah, it's that lady. This Titan was looking at Ilse Lackner, and she had freckles, I think, and she thought it was Ymir. And Ymir is named after Ymir Fritz. And that's why everyone's praising her, because this fucking asshole used this random beggar girl to trick a bunch of people and got a bunch of money, and then the Marlins were like, hey, what the fuck is going on here? And that's it. Anyway, this girl claiming that she was Ymir Fritz, I thought if that's what would save them, it would be fine. But there are some people in this world who have rocks thrown at them for nothing more than existing. As their symbol, I was stoned from head to toe. It seems that in this world, it doesn't matter anything in particular that a simple chunk of flesh can scream and flail. And this is where you see Ymir in that Titan. I don't think you see this in the anime. No, it does not mean a thing. But that's why I think the world is so incredible. I opened my eyes again, and spread out before me was freedom. From there, I began to walk, and I lived the way I wanted. I have no regrets. So when Ymir wakes up in this freaking desert, when we read this chapter, we were like, oh, okay. And then we saw season 2, and we were like, huh, that's kind of weird. And we didn't think about it too much. But then, a manga chapter later on, and now this episode is saying to us that this desert, these things in the sky, that's paths. Remember, Armin, when he ate Bertolt, he turned immediately into a human. That was pretty much the same. That was with Uri, with Freda, with Eren. They turned back immediately. They are in the same locations. So when Ymir ate Marcel, and you can see that they're not in the desert, not even freaking close. There's no way that Ymir ate the kid and ran into the desert and then she woke up naked. What was going on in here was that this whole time she was in the paths seeing the shit. So maybe every other shitter has been in here and has seen this, or maybe there's like another aspect here that we don't know as to why Ymir herself is in this place seeing this stuff. Remember that Ymir was a Titan for 60 years and the body of the Titan assimilates that body. I think this was cut in the anime. When they usually open up like normal Titans necks, they see that there's nothing there. But with shifters, there's absolutely something there. So maybe Ymir was in the paths because her consciousness was in the paths. She's like regaining back, and that's why she's like in there. It's like a loading screen. Anyway, Ymir says that she has no regrets, or so she would like to say. But to be honest, I have one regret. You and I are still married. P.S. You're gay. Lol. So none of this is in the anime, right? So what is in the anime? Well, for some ungodly reason, I guess it was just to cut time, they made Historia touch the paper. And this makes Historia all of a sudden see Ymir's memories. And you're seeing all these pictures from the season 2 flashback, and in between each frame, you see that shots with the Aurora Borealis, and that's Paths. Historia, through Paths, is seeing Ymir's memories. But like, Historia is not a Titan shifter. So far, Historia has not eaten Ymir's Titan. How is she seeing these memories? Like, what's going on? And not only that, as Ymir described, she's probably going to die. And the last shots we saw was actually from the future. You see Ymir, like, chained up. And it looks like she's in the middle of one of those race rituals where she's gonna get eaten, passing down her Titan to someone else. That is from the future, because Ymir has to write this before she dies. So, what? I don't know. How? Is the paper made of aliens? Is Ymir writing with her own blood? Memory stuff in Attack on Titan makes no sense whatsoever. There's no logic in the Uprising arc. In the manga, Eren has that weird vision with Freyda in the mirror. Randomly, Historia dreams of that scene where she's like reading a book with Freyda. Randomly. Maybe it's because she's like around Eren, but it was not touching. But in the anime, they were like, nah, fuck that. And instead, they put most of the memory stuff in the cave scene. And they try to justify it as the cave itself is like making you remember certain stuff. Historia and Rod touching Eren is making both of them remembering stuff. They're trying to tie the touching into memory unlocking. But then you have Historia cutting Rod and she's seeing Rod's memories. Then you have Eren and Historia during this time skip between the Uprising arc and the Return to Shingeki arc, where supposedly they were holding hands a lot to try to get more memories, and they got nothing. And now you have Eren. He reads books with Grisha. It's like, huh, that's pretty cool. And then he sleeps, and then he remembers everything that we've been seeing. I don't think there's any logic with memories. And now she's like touching paper, and I'm like, what the hell? Now we know that paths are a thing, and everyone's like connected, but like, what's stopping anyone from remembering anything? Like, what's the triggers here? I'm not exactly the biggest fan in the writing of this stuff. It just seems like it's whatever Isayama wants to do. Like, he has like total freedom to do whatever he wants. But this touching paper stuff was absolutely the craziest shit, and no wonder I was losing my mind when I saw that. Anyway, Hanji and Jean are talking about his story, and they're like, hey man, there's like a hidden message here or something, there's like a code here, and now I guess technically there is. Historia is just trying to play it off, but she is crying. This is goodbye, this is it. Admittedly, I have not been paying much attention to people's thoughts on this episode particularly. It's been a rough week, to be honest. But anyway, I don't know if everyone's okay with Ymir's probable death. Like, I don't want to confirm anything, but unless like some dude, I'm gonna save you, Ymir. In the manga, all those years ago, I do remember that people were pissed off because in the manga we didn't have this whole elaborate goodbye for Ymir in her last arc. We were hoping that she was going to be important. We were hoping that she was going to do something. She was not in the Return to Shingeki arc, and it seemed like everyone's like forgetting about her existence, including members in the Survey Corps, which is weird. 3 people are drinking. What? Like, Ymir? No, it was bad. A lot of people were like really yelling at Isayama, and I don't think they're wrong. You know, like I don't think they're wrong in doing that. I like Ymir too, and I think it was really shitty that is a thing that happens with her character. But this is why I think the anime actually benefited from having this big Ymir flashback in season 2, because that's where we have a goodbye. It's more emotional and it feels more conclusive. So when we read this letter, it's like, yeah, it's kind of already like expecting that. In the manga, it's, oh, Ymir's this, oh, she's dead. Wow, fuck. That's it. Again, what was Ymir? The story of Ymir, of gay Ymir, is a story of a selfless girl trying to be selfish. She was selfless and got messed up, and she turned into a Titan, and then she got lucky and returned back into being a human. And with this freedom, she tried to live life for herself, but she couldn't. She heard this guy's talking about Historia, and she wanted to help Historia. Go back and watch the whole Lesbian on Ice episode. Now you have the full context of those characters, it's gonna make a lot of sense. And the Ymir flashback, it's gonna make a lot more sense. Everything about Ymir is gonna make a lot more sense with this mindset that she just wanted to help people. Mostly Historia, because she's fucking gay, but even Reiner and Bertel, because she felt bad for them. When Bertel was screaming, and oh my god, we're gonna die, she felt bad, and that's why she went to save them. And she felt bad that she hated their friend, Marcel, and she knew that these guys were going to be in trouble, according to her, if she didn't return with them. And there's a lot more to say about her. I'm not gonna cry like Historia, but yeah, a lot of people were angry. Anyway, the main trio arrives, and Levi too, I guess, but Levi doesn't say anything. Historia's like, oh my god, yo guys, how you doing? And they're like, Your Majesty. Aaron's a little bit late on that one. It's pretty awkward and pretty funny. And they had this conversation of like, you guys been through so much, all I've been doing is watching the sky, Literally, we got a shot on that a couple of episodes ago. But, you know, what the hell do you want the story to do? Like, you're a queen, bro. Like, you are important for something. She's like, it looks like you guys haven't changed. And Eren just says, yeah, well, it's because reality hasn't sunk in yet. Yeah. And we have a shot with Sasha eating apples because she's too injured to be present in this meeting. Anyway, we've arrived into the big section of this chapter/episode. The individuals in this room are currently the only ones who know about the existence of these 3 books, The Early Life of Grisha Jaeger. You must think you're so fucking important, Grisha. I'm talking about my life. Fuck you, bro. I'm joking. The extent of our knowledge of Titans and their history, and the information about the world beyond the walls. We owe the retrieval to the 9 soldiers who are here today, and the 199 who are not. I don't know where you got that number. That is in the manga too. I thought it was 100 people total in the Return to Shingeki arc. So I thought the people that died were 91. I don't know what the hell this number is. What is the correct number? Either way, yikes, a lot of people died. Their heroics deserve to be praised for millennia to come. A place to do just that, as well as to bury the fallen, will be set aside at a later date. But today, I would like to share information here in the presence of the Queen and develop a joint strategy for the future. Hanji gives the briefing. In exchange for the loss of the many heroes, including Erwin Smith, the Silver Corps managed to retake Wall Maria and get the Colossal Titan. However, humans living inside the walls are still in an extremely dangerous situation. It would have been lucky to consider that Titans were their only enemies. But unfortunately, the true enemy that they've been fighting all this time is humanity, civilization, and as she's saying this shit, the anime shows footage from season 2 where Eren is talking with Ymir, and if you remember that scene, Eren was just like, who's the real enemy? And Ymir's like, well, I guess the real enemy would be, and this is how what Ymir was going to say in the past, and what Hanji is going to say in the present intersect. Well, if I had to say, it'd be the world. In Japanese, she finishes her sentence with se, and if you're a massive weeb, you will know that the Japanese word for the world is sekai. If I remember correctly, she gets interrupted by Reiner, and Reiner actually talks about the world, which is, I think it's interesting. Anyway, according to these notes, the people inside the walls are the subjects of Ymir, a special race from the nation known as Eldia, who are capable of becoming titans. And these subjects of Ymir once ruled the world and can possibly rule again. And that's why the world attempts to eradicate the people inside the walls. We go back to Grisha and Kruger again. We're still not done with those guys as well. This is where there's a section that was cut. If the founding titan falls into Marley's hands, they will no longer have any use for the Eldians in the interminate zone, spelling the end for all Eldians on this island or on the continent. What Gross said was a fact. From long ago, Eldia had used pure titans as cheap weapons of destruction. So as long as the founding titan does not control them, they cannot follow any complex orders. However, once they are set loose, they become fearless and automatic tools of mass slaughter. They are now being used to cage the Eldians on this island, preventing them from freely venturing past the walls. But now, it's too much for even them. Even the Marlians have to avoid the island. The only reason they've kept so many Eldians alive inside the interment area is because each living Eldian is one more pure titan they can add to their military forces. But of course, Marley isn't a monolith. Most people think it'd be better to slaughter us all than turn us into such unreliable weapons. Marley has set that discussion aside for now, but I know that one day they will return for this island's resources, and to develop it, they will need to eliminate all of the pure titans. If they acquire the founding titan held by the King of the Walls, they will again begin to question whether the Eldians should continue to exist, and they will use us as weapons or eradicate us, one or the other. But then Grish is like, yo, but the King of the Walls, he wouldn't allow that. Well, my friend, apparently he would. The King of the Walls doesn't want to fight. If Eldia decides to raise the world once more, we will perish as we are meant to. It is pointless to try to take the founding titan from me. I have made a vow with the founding titan, renouncing all war. This was what King Fritz, the 104th king, the first king race, said to the royal family on the continent before closing the gates on the walls. The whole, oh my god, I'm going to flatten the earth. That was bullshit. He used that threat to achieve a temporary peace. The king actually agrees with Marley that Eldia should be destroyed. He's taking his people down with him. The king has stolen the people's memories, and has made them think that humanity outside the walls has perished. How does Kruger know this information? I don't know, but I think it's very interesting that if you look into that shots where we have like these guys in horses in front of the gates, I remember for years thinking that that was inside the walls, but that might be outside the walls. That might be these Marlians or maybe just other dudes that were like trying to come in contact with the people inside the walls. Maybe this is where the information came from or something. I don't know. Anyway, the king is surrounded by fools of his own making, and he tells them that this is paradise. And I really like how the anime showed Uri and Kenny. I don't understand his vow renouncing war, but a king who can't even protect his own people is no king. And then Kruger says this, there was cuts. Though I doubt he uses the name Fritz, we must find him and take the Founding Titan from the frightened camp. Characters in Attack on Titan just make these assumptions, and they are just always right. Anyway, that is their mission, and we have this transition with Eren, and Eren just looks like shit. Woo! Boy, that's rough. He's 15. He's not aged like since season 1. Mr. Jaeger completed this mission. He took the Founding Titan from the King of the Walls and entrusted it to his son, Eren. But while Mr. Kruger didn't exactly knew what the vow renouncing war meant, this is cuts, we know now what it is. The true power of the Founding Titan can only be used if it resides inside someone from the royal bloodline. However, if the Founding Titan does reside inside anyone with royal blood, they will be consumed by the will of the 145th king, leaving them with no choice to just not use that power, I guess. The translation, this part is pretty bad in the manga. I'm gonna talk about that later. I dare say that this is what the vow renouncing war does. And then this is a little different in the anime. In the manga we have exactly. He says, I would say that the only possible way to resist such a powerful enemy would be to use the true power of the Founding Titan and activate the Titans in the walls. But you're saying that it would be impossible so as long as we have this vow renouncing war. And that's when Hanji's like, well, in the past, Eren has controlled pure Titans in order to escape perilous situations, aka Season 2. We still don't know why he was able to use that power, but there's still a possibility that even Eren, who is not from royal bloodline, is able to use the Founding Titan power. And Eren's like, oh yeah, for just one moment. That day, I felt like everything was connected. Again, for just one moment. This is important. But only then. This is important. Why was it only for a moment? This is important. Only when he touched the Titan, the smiling Titan, the Titan that is Dinah Fritz, the descendant from the royal family, the Titan with royal blood. Only then was he able to feel like everything was connected. Only then was he able to use the Founding Titan's powers, right? Well, the short answer is yes. Eren is like, oh my god, could it be? And he starts connecting everything, and he scares everyone's like, what the fuck, what's going on? And he looks at Historia, and Hanji looks at him. They made the shot even more like intense, and I feel like Hanji is reading him. Like she knows Eren just found out something, and she tries to play it off. She's going through a phase, ha ha ha. Anyway, Eren is now reflecting that I didn't told them yet that the Titan that killed my mom and Hannes was my father's first wife. Especially because if I did, then he looks at Historia, and this is where there is one of the biggest fuck-ups in Attack on Titan. So, if I remember correctly, when this chapter was first released, in the original Japanese release, the Japanese script was wrong. But Eren says this, if they turned someone from the royal family into a Titan and they had me consume them, not touch, you saw the anime, he says touch. Yeah, it's not consume. Eren didn't consume Dina. And it's not like consume is going to do anything. Like, you saw Grisha consuming Freda, right? That didn't give him access to Founding Titan's full powers. Because if he did, he probably would have made the Titans back off from the walls with little time he had left. He didn't do that because presumably consuming someone with royal bloodline doesn't really matter. The touching is the key here. But yeah, like the original Japanese release had the word consume, and Isayama had to like go to his blog and be like, hey guys, I fucked up. I'm sorry. It's not like this. Yeah, I'm sorry. And I think they corrected this in the Japanese like volume release. But man, they didn't fix this in the English release. If you have this volume 22, you'll see consume, and there's people that were still confused for like years. Touching, consuming, no, it's touching. But more importantly, it's not just the fact that Eren touched someone with royal blood. Eren has touched Historia, and presumably a lot. And he's only saying that when he touched Dinah, that's when he felt like everything connected. So what is the difference between Dinah and Historia is the fact that Dinah was a Titan, Historia, for now, is a human. Even though royal blood in Historia might be important to trigger memories or not, depending on whatever they say feels like.
Now that we have this information about the royal blood Titan touching thing, it's pretty funny to think about how, in hindsight, that one scene that Reiner was thinking about how Eren could have attacked Zeke, if that happened, if those guys touched right then and there, this whole arc would have been way different. Mainly the fact that not a whole lot of people would have been dead.
Now, with information that, oh my god, even when you're a shifter, that is a bad thing because of the 13 years, you're going to die, that is a death sentence. I'm going to die. My friend Armin's going to die too. I saved him, he's going to die anyway. He's like, shit. If I say this information, the military might force Historia to become a Titan. Shifter or otherwise. If they have serums, this is information that could put Historia's life in danger. And Eren is like, I don't want to sacrifice her. Shit. So he fucking keeps quiet. He's concerned of what the military might do to her. And you might think, well, she's the queen. She has some say in the matter, right? Well, ironically, Historia is just like the fake king in the Uprising arc. She doesn't actually have a whole lot of power. She's a figurehead. She's there to pretend that she's the queen, the rightful queen, from the real royal blood family to the common people, the fucking dumbasses. You don't want to look like the military is actually ruling the walls, right? That kind of looks bad. Yeah, it kind of looks bad. That's why you have the fake queen to trick people. You know? And that's the situation there. And Eren's like, fuck, these fuckers, they might discard Historia the moment that she's not longer useful. So yeah, that's pretty bad. And because there's only like 2 royal blood people in the walls, they might also make Historia do certain stuff. If you know what if you're catching what I mean. So it's interesting that you have Eren now is like concerned for Historia's life. And the next scene, you have Kruger talking about how he loves someone inside the walls. And the song The Name of Love starts playing. That's what I was expecting. That's what I wanted. The moment I saw the name of the ED, Name of Love, I didn't know what the song was about. I just saw the Name of Love. Oh, yeah, if you can't love someone inside the walls, we're doomed to repeat it again. The same history, the same mistakes, again and again and again and again and again. This fucking cycle. A cycle of hatred, cycle of oppression. Marligans and the Elgins are doing bad things to each other. But maybe it's a literal cycle of something else. If you want to save them all, Mikasa and Armin and the others carry out the mission to the end. And Grisha's like, Mikasa, Armin, what? Who knows? Whose memories could these be? And that's how the episode ends. So maybe memories from past, they don't just go from the past to the future, they go from the future to the past. And maybe because Eren and Grisha and Kruger have the attack titan, maybe this is why they're all kind of like, yo, freedom, yeah, let's fight. Maybe the shifter that you get influences your personality, you know? We talked about before, the will to act was like sent through past. So maybe that's it. But maybe, I hate this one, honestly, it's the theory that maybe everything in Attack on Titan is a time loop. Everything has happened before. And again, this whole cycle is more literal than we thought. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, having all this shit followed by Eren talking about Historia, it's like, all of a sudden, are we like shipping Eren and Historia in the middle of the fucking chapter when Ymir got killed? So, Eren touched Dinah, and she's a Titan royal blood, and he's working on the assumption that that is what made him use the Founding Titan's powers. But the thing is, he used that twice. He used that power when he touched her and when he was running away with Mikasa and Reiner and Bertolt were coming at him and he was like, yo, fuck you, bro! And the Titans attacked Reiner and Bertolt right then and there. He was not touching Dinah. He was touching Mikasa's ass. So, what's going on there? Is there more going on? Or is there like a lingering effect when you touch the Titan with the royal blood? Oh, we don't know, actually. We don't know. But I can tell you that the assumption of touching someone with royal blood Titan shit is the most important thing. It's the driving plot point for the future of Attack on Titan. So remember that. It's gonna be really hard to remember all these details if you only watch the anime, and then whenever season 4 happens, hopefully it's not gonna be 4 years, hopefully it's gonna be next year. Are you going to remember all these little details? Attack on Titan is gonna be so complicated, bro. Like, to remember all these things that are so important. Anyway, I'm gonna be there for you. Honestly, man, I was laughing this entire episode. There's some jokes here and there were funny, but there was just a couple of things here and there was kind of iffy. The weird bootleg version of UCB Girl that plays in the middle of the episode when Kruger and Grisha are talking, it sounds like Suwano missed his appointment with the orchestra. It's like, oh, we're not here, bro. It's like 2 weeks from now. Oh shit, I gotta compose some music now. And he like pulled out his computer and used like one of those like synthesizer or whatever to compose the song. It just doesn't sound right. And I laughed because of that. I really like how the ending of this episode was the artwork of the backstory. It was really interesting. We see a shot that was not used in the actual episode. It was in the manga, but they saved it for there. So that was cool. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it. Next episode is going to be the last one. It's going to be the last one. And it's going to be, for the most part, only going to be one chapter. Maybe some original scenes here and there. Maybe a tongue-in-cheek ending. Maybe they're going to do another glitch ending to scare everyone off. Maybe. It's going to be fun to see that. But yeah, what do you think about this episode? Did you like this? Did you hate the fact that he cut some stuff here and there? What do you think about Ymir? Are you sad that she might be dead? Anyway, that's it. Hope you like this video. Like, click that thing. That's what I'm talking about. Not enjoying the video. You have to actually click there to show actual support. I don't trust that you like the video when you don't click it. You know what I mean? So yeah, maybe leave a comment. Maybe I'll trust that. Anyway, I just hit 700 subscribers, and I'm really happy about that. And hopefully we can gain even more subscribers. I don't know, man. But until then, I need to drink some freaking water. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys later.